Well, hello, everyone. This is Johnny Grandison. As we get started, we are so happy to have each of you here for the June 2022 edition of Becoming, where we're celebrating Men's Health Month. And we're coming off this past weekend's Father's Day and Juneteenth celebrations. And our panelists, who span a multitude of generations, will come in the spirit of enriching lives of others as they share their experiences and of improving men's health. So tonight, we're going to get to talk about improving men's health through nutrition as we look through the lenses from those spanning multiple generations. And we're going to start with Dr. Fowler. What has been your experience with how many of the men in your life that thought about the topic of health and nutrition?
Well, as many of you on the call know, I'm an internist. I've been practicing medicine for over 40 years. And during that time period, I've observed a lot when it comes to men's health, as well as women's health. And what I've been impressed by is the lack of knowledge over the years about the kinds of things that we should be consuming and the other things that we should do along with that. For example, exercise and so on and so forth. But one of the issues is, of course, I'm sure, is how many of us were raised and what we were exposed to as children. Because, we look at our parents and where they came from and what they were able to eat as a child. And sometimes that's what you have on your kitchen table at the time of dinner or breakfast or lunch or what have you. And it's the same sort of thing. Now, what's interesting about this is that we have to understand that inflammation is one of the things that causes disease, okay? And inflammation can come from eating bad food and come from a whole bunch of sources. But eating bad food is one of the things that can come from. More saturated fats in the diet, more sugars. When we were kids, all of us drank sodas all the time, right? That was the thing to do. Go get your Coke, go drink whatever kind of soda you want. You went out, you played sports, you came, you drank your sodas. And sodas are so high in sugar, and sugar does cause inflammation. And so when you eat foods like the refined carbs, like white bread, sunbeam bread, right? Everybody's eating sunbeam bread when they were kids. We didn't know any better. We know now that whole wheat is better, but these are the kinds of things that would spike our sugar levels. And when you spike the sugar levels, then you create more inflammation. And what does that do? That drives disease, okay? Everything from heart disease to cancer, okay? Even Alzheimer's disease is an inflammatory disease. So the kinds of things that I'm describing to you, we just did not know about. So it was all about, what I had to do is educate. So I've been educating for a long time about the things that we need to do when it comes to nutrition. So fruits and vegetables, I've been pounding that element into my males for years in my practice. Also trying to get them to understand that even things like nuts are important. Nuts are anti-inflammatory. A handful of nuts a day, trying to get my males to understand that. One of the problems that we have right now in the world, not just the United States, is the obesity epidemic, okay? And particularly in the Black community, we lead the pack. When the pandemic hit, we were already I was ready to give a talk right before it hit. I remember the night before, the rate of obesity in the country was 39%. That night before, that morning, it changed to 40% of the United States population is obese. And Black folks, it's much higher than that. It's up to 42, 43%. Now, when you look at that problem right there, it tells you, what have we been doing? We haven't been doing the right things when it comes to our diet. We haven't been doing the right things when it comes to exercise. And if you take a tape measure, and you guys out there on this call, and you measure around your belly button, if it's 40 inches or higher, then you have a problem. Because what that says is that you have too much abdominal fat. And in that abdominal fat, you've got all kinds of inflammation. It's like a factory of toxic chemicals that can drive disease, everything from, as I said, heart disease to cancer to diabetes, et cetera. So I'm going to stop there and let someone else talk, but that's what I've experienced. Thank you.
Yeah, I like how he stepped right on the heart disease. I mean, heart disease being one of those number one killers of men, period. And this being Men's Health Awareness Month, I want to jump right in, Johnny, and say, we have to prioritize our health. Men have to prioritize their health. As a husband, I'm a 42-year-old husband. I want to introduce myself. I'm Philip Cooper. I've been married almost 20 years. I've got 2 children, a 14-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. I live here in Indianapolis, and I think that we have to prioritize our health. It's got to be one of the main reasons that we live for. Sometimes as a husband, I prioritize my marriage, I prioritize my children, and I also prioritize providing. But we all know health is wealth. The doctor was just stating all these different facts, some of the things that he's been breathing down people's throats for years. We have to fill our bodies with the right things. I mean, these are analogies, and sometimes we don't like analogies, but think about it like this. Think of a car with no gas or the wrong type of gas. It might start going, but it might stall. And it might stall at a place where you need it the most. Just think about that. You need your body the most. You need what you need inside you the most. So we really, really have to start prioritizing our health as men.
Wow. Well, I think that's tremendously powerful, Phil. And just really thinking about what you, Phil, and Dr. Fowler has said, it just makes me think of an article that I've read recently. Now, before I kind of talk about the statistics, because I do think it's important to hear those numbers, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Arnold Brown. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I am a foreign language teacher teaching in the elementary school. And I am also a health and wellness enthusiast. I'm in the bodybuilding space currently. And I just want to read some statistics and information real briefly that I got from an article from verywellhealth.com. It says this, listen to this. Black men in the United States suffer worse health than any other racial group in America. For example, as a group, Black men have the lowest life expectancy and the highest death rate from specific causes compared to both men and women of racial and ethnic groups. Listen to these numbers. 44% of Black men are considered overweight. 37.5% are obese. And then it goes on and it says this, Black men suffer more preventable oral diseases that are treatable. Black men have a higher incidence of diabetes and prostate cancer. And finally, it says this, and this, especially as a teacher, this is very, very alarming. It says Black men have a high suicide rate. It's the third leading cause of death in between those that are 15 and 24 years old.
Amazing facts, very broad statistics, unfortunately. Before I get into any detail, my name is Daniel Merritt. I'm a certified exercise specialist, and throughout all my time being a coach, a student, a trainer, been able to work within many ethnic populations. And throughout it all, especially my own time doing research, I've come across the same facts. Many of the statistics that they were going over, specifically in the Black community, that I want to highlight. And many of the issues come very broad sense when from both socioeconomic status or people with their general upbringing. I want to tie that back to what the doctor was saying. A lot of people's upbringings vary so drastically in the Black community that people just don't have the same connection to the education that they may need to get better information, even the basics of information that are stated here today. I'm excited that we're coming here today. I'm excited for everyone's going to share. In my own life, I try my best to give people the wide range of knowledge and the grander importance, and try to speak about the benefits behind the education, but both what you're eating and what you're doing, trying to stay fit, because the benefits are going to go just beyond what you look like in the mirror. It's going to be how you feel, and it's going to shift everything that we've just spoken today that was from a negative standpoint. I promise you, every bit of information is going to count, even if it seems small. The long range throughout your life, you're going to feel better, you're going to work better, you're going to be more focused, mental clarity, and it's all going to benefit, I promise.
That's awesome. And I sat there and I listened. I saw that many of us are coming from different walks of life, different backgrounds. We've kind of grown up differently, but we all have a central theme and a central passion, because we see the need is there. And I'd be remiss, because we do have people here who not only credentialed, but just have a heart and who've been in this space for a while. Dr. Reginald Fowler, now he's retired now, and he's in his 60s, but he's one of the top internal medicine and preventive care physicians in the country. He's been, he had over 44 years experience. former assistant clinical professor, and he's been bestowed Physician of the Year, honors. And so this is some information that's coming to you all where we realize no matter what your demographic, no matter where you're coming from, it's truly important. He has a beautiful wife, Donna, a father, grandfather, and he's in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm in my 50s. Another generational, 10 years or so. For me, I'm a civil engineer, and I work as a project manager for military projects, and I own a co-owner of a nutrition company, and I've been in this space for many years, helping people in marriages, just helping people and their families. And so it gives us just a passion to do so. My lovely wife Beverly has been joining me, so this is something we've been able to do together in this space, and so that's really been important. We talked to Phil. He too is a project manager as he goes out in the field. He and Precious with their 2 kids. He has come and I tell people, regardless of where you came from, that just gives you experiences for which you can carry forward, and he's done a great job with that. Arnold, he speaks, he says, multilingual. He speaks over 5 languages, and that's including Mandarin, and he's in his 30s. And so as we move down, there's still so much that everybody can give, and so much that everybody can actually contribute to this topic, what we're doing. Daniel is actually in his 20s, so we've spanned, over 5 generations just on this particular call. But his education in that space of health and nutrition, you can see where it's traversed the whole timeline to where now he has gotten a formal degree to help him do the very things that he's doing in his space, the way his generation needs it to be done and likes for it to be done. So I think that's really important that we do that. Of course, my wife is always talking about these last 2, they're not married. I figured, whatever that was about, but that was something she really wanted to throw out there. And so as we continue to do that, and we look at how, the people who have been closest to us, health wasn't necessarily at the top of the agenda. It was about surviving. It was about taking care of people where they were and providing for the families. But oftentimes there's stumbling blocks. So I'm gonna ask Phil, what do you see as some of the stumbling blocks of men as it comes to improving and sustaining a better quality of health?
I'm gonna kind of piggyback off what I said earlier, but then I'm gonna tag a little bit more to that. One of the stumbling blocks, I think, is just prioritizing that. And I think it's not prioritized because some people don't have that iron sharpening that iron. And what I mean is accountability partners. Sometimes when I think of health, I almost think of the word legacy. What impact am I going to leave for my family? What impact am I going to leave from people that know me? And like you said, I want to be a person that helps others. I want to be a person that's not only a pillar to the community, but I want to be an example. And if we can just start by prioritizing our health, what did I mean? Okay, let's get some things in regimen. Let's get an accountability partner. Let's get a close friend of ours. Hey, man, what did you eat for breakfast? What did you have for lunch? When's the last time you went for a walk? Like I said, I'm married. My wife is a health nut. Me and her, just like you, Johnny, run a nutrition company and nutrition business. And one of the things my wife likes to do at night, let's go for an evening walk. Let's just go for an evening walk. We walk the neighborhood 2-3 times. We wave at people. And it's not that hard to do. You just get out. You just get off the couch. I think we forget about that, and we can say, I'll do that later. That's what I'll do later, Johnny. I'll walk later. I'll exercise later. I'll do that next time. But I can't hit the nail hard enough, brother. We got to move more, and we can't let work get ahead of us. We can't let our children, work, all these other priorities push the weight down on us where we just forget about ourselves. Like you said, what the doctor say? If you wrap that measuring tape around from belly button to belly button, if you're over 40, that's a sign. We can't. That's just what it is. That's a fact right there. Those are facts. We can't run from facts. Men are rational beings naturally, and guess what? When should I start, Phil? When should I be accountable? Today's the day. If you're watching this video, let today be the day you start.
Awesome.
Wow. Well, Phil, brother, you get me fired up every time you talk, man. Because what I think about when I hear this question, Brother Johnny, a stumbling block, especially as an educator, is the fact that I believe that there's a lack of education. I mean, when is the last time have you seen brothers or men come together to talk about health? Let me just ask a question. What is the main conversations, those of you who are listening right now, what type of conversations do you usually hear people talking about as it regards their health? Health problems, but not how to get educated as it regards health. So with that, I feel, just as Phil said, we are doing something right now that is literally the start of something powerful that can change this world. And that is educating ourselves how to be healthy.
Awesome.
Let me say something also about what you just said. And Arnold, thank you for what you just said. All you guys, appreciate it. You know, medical school, okay, doesn't teach enough prevention. So you're going to providers, your doctors, who oftentimes don't know about prevention, okay? Now, I went to Tufts Medical School up in Boston, and Tufts has one of the top nutrition schools in the world, okay? There's a Tufts nutrition letter, which I get, which I encourage all of you to, subscribe to if you can. It's really cheap. It's about $12 a year, something like that. But it's a fantastic newspaper that gives you all kinds of great information. Now, went up to a reunion. Again, this was pre-pandemic. Went up to a reunion. We met with medical students, okay? They were on a panel. So I sat there in the audience and I said to them, asked them, I said, how much nutrition teaching are you guys getting in medical school? I said, you've got one of the top nutrition schools in the country, okay? One of the top. The guy who started is a guy named Jean Meyer, who's a PhD from France. Was good friends with Lou Sullivan, who many of you guys know, who was my patient, who was starting Morris Medical School, okay? And I asked them that question, how much nutrition do you get? The answer was none. I said, how is that you have one of the top schools right here? What's going on? So my point is, you may not get the information always from your doctor. Don't expect to. So as Arnold said, so that you've got to get yourself educated. Now I tried to do my best. I need to write this book. I keep saying that. Okay, I'm going to write it, guys. Okay, to talk about these issues. Okay, I'm going to talk about, because I thank the Lord, I've had a lot of experience in preventive medicine. And that's been something I've kind of based my career on. Dr. Rick Du Bois, who many of you know, who's now deceased, was a very, very close friend of mine. He preached prevention. He was a mentor to me. And as a result of that, I was able to pick up on a lot of this from him, as well as what I already knew. But the bottom line is, like you said, we as Black males and white males just don't know, okay? Males in general, but particularly Black males, okay? Because of our backgrounds, the majority of us are where we came from. One last story, and that's, I'm thinking about my dad, God rest his soul. He used to tell this story. He said, Reg, we were so poor. They were from Spartanburg, South Carolina, where your boy playing for the Pelicans is from, Zion, right? Spartanburg, South Carolina. And he said, we were so poor that we had to go to the slaughterhouse and we had to wait until they finished slaughtering all the meat. Then we take what he called a croquisette, put it in the chute and get the remains, which were basically chitlins. And chitlins, as many of you know, are the guts from hogs, right? They would bring that home so mama could make that for the family. So think about that. So what do you think I got when I was a kid? Okay, this is what I'm talking about. And if you continue, now thank the Lord, my mom was a nurse and had enough sense to make sure we had some veggies for dinner at least, and then try to eat relatively healthy, but we had chitlin every now and then, we definitely did. Remember, you guys know about tongue and all that stuff? Okay, tripe. Okay, how do I know about this stuff? Because they're from the South, okay? But the bottom line is, if your genes over the years with your hands, if you keep getting exposed to that, the genes of our ancestors, the genes are gonna start to change and start to promote bad diseases, okay? So that's something called epigenetics, okay? When the genes change. Now, the issue is, can we change them back? And if we do the right things, then oftentimes we can. There's some interesting information about it. Everybody knows about vitamin D now. I've been talking about it for 20 years, okay? There's some interesting information about vitamin D. That if you're vitamin D deficient, sometimes we think some of these genes may point in different directions and take you down the wrong path of disease. But if you replenish the vitamin D and get your levels of where they should be, sometimes we think those genes may change back so that you don't develop those diseases. So these are the kinds of things, you know, eating healthy, you know, I already mentioned nuts to you guys. A lot of people don't understand that nuts are so doggone healthy. I mean, they increase longevity if you eat them every day. You have a little handful of nuts. There's some studies that have been done on colon cancer. And if you eat just 3 handfuls of nuts a week, the incidence of colon cancer returning is well over 45% decrease. Just
I
from
think
doing
that's a lot
that.
of,
Just from
yeah,
doing
that's a
that.
lot of, that's almost like not only the information, but the misinformation, you know, the things that they don't tell us along with the things that they
Exactly.
do. So yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So, you know, I could go on and on, but I'm going to stop there. Let's see what you guys chime in. It's obviously been a challenge for me and a challenge, I'm sure, for all of us who are in this field to get our guys to understand what they need to do. But we've got to do something. And Phil, you're right. We've got to move. You know, the couch potato data, those who are couch potatoes and don't do anything, 8% increase in death. Okay. Exercise is great, but you don't have to overdo it, because sometimes excessive exercise also can be associated with not being able to increase your longevity. For example, I could talk, I'm going to stop. Okay, but there was a study called the Copenhagen Heart Study, where they looked at joggers, and joggers who ran from 1 to 2.4 hours a week had a 71% decrease in death rate compared to those who sat on the couch and were sedentary. 71%. If they jog 1 to 2.4 hours a week. However, if you jog over 2.4 hours a week, you had the same risk of death as the ones who did nothing. So remember, understand that excessive exercise is not always the answer. Last thing, the 10,000 step business, okay? Everybody knows about 10,000 steps. Where did that come from? You know. Came from an Asian company who made the pedometer. We thank them so much for making the pedometer so we can see how many steps we walk. But they made this thing and they just arbitrarily took 10,000 steps and said, you know, everybody needs to do that to stay healthy. No research behind that 10,000 steps at all, okay? None. So now we know that, you know, you don't really have to do 10,000 steps. You don't have to walk there. You know, 6,000 is appropriate. That's the latest in terms of how far we should walk. Now they're throwing rate in there, saying, you know, if you throw in rate and increase your miles per hour to 4 miles per hour, males can extend their life 20 years almost, and females 15 by increasing the rate of walking. So
yeah, I saw Daniel shaking his head. Yeah, he
okay.
agrees with that.
So I'm going to stop there, guys. Let you guys talk. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, because I'm always curious as this younger generation, you know, when we start talking about the things that are impact us and how they somewhat seem invincible, you know, to the degree of things that we in the older generation try to tell them. But from Daniel, from your point of view, what are some of the things that you see your peer group struggling with?
Right. I was going to come in and I was going to mention this from I don't know what you call it, a new perspective, but nowadays it's interesting how there will be a lack of information, but the increased amount of power behind people's opinions, because everyone has Google, everybody has social media. There's a new element that comes in where I come in and not only do I have to give information, I'm going to have to backtrack on misinformation that people are getting from anywhere, anything, trying to sell them something, increase amounts of marketing, increase amounts of things, trying to give them quick fixes to whatever issue they're dealing with, even if they don't even have issues. And they're creating problems and trying to fix them in the same step. So a lot of it, I'm trying to get to the basics of the core of nutrition principles, the easy habits to do, the things to keep in mind. And I'm trying to give everybody this amount of information because I realize that if I can get them in a place of even some of the simple habits at a young age, it puts them on the right track so that they don't have to backtrack. They don't have to deal with the same problems that come from being chronic issues. Chronic just meaning that, you know, it's very long. There's issues that have spanned for even generations where people maintain the same habits. And I know that when somebody has maintained them habits and I try to, you try to fix it, you try to give them the new information, it's an extra stumbling block because they're ingrained. And then when they get going, they have to come down from where they were at. Maybe it's hard to transition. And it's tough to see the benefits after maybe enjoying a certain lifestyle for 20, 30, however many years that they were in. They got a little bit comfortable. The walk at the end of the day might be a little bit, a little bit of a shock at first. A little bit of a shock. I try to tell people from the beginning of their lives that the beginning of their fitness life is gonna separate them from their biological age versus their chronological age. Now, so some people may ask, what do you mean by that? Well, I'm trying to tell them that the performance of your body, your mind, the way you function with the food and everything that you're doing exercise-wise, if you have those things in order, you'll start to see over time, you'll be in better shape than other people, maybe at the same age. At older ages, you may perform better than people at younger ages. And they may not understand how well their body could perform or will perform just because they don't know yet.
Right.
And that's the info I'm trying to get to them. I'm trying to focus on the real benefits beyond the mirror. And the mirror is nice. It is. But I'm trying to get this for long-term goals, because many of the issues that I'm seeing is that people may reach their short-term goals. A lot of people in my age group, they stay in the gym for maybe certain periods. They may look the way they want for, the summertime, which is 3 months. And then afterwards, they drop it.
And that's part of that lifestyle too. Is a lot of times we rush into all these fad diets that you see out there, and lose 10 pounds in 10 days, and sometime later they've gained 25. So we see that, and that's one of the things that we talk about. So Arnold, I'm coming to you, as we kind of move through this. Just talking about lifestyles, what do you consider to be some of the greatest impacts that you've either experienced in your own life or for someone that you've been working with for improving one's health?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, the first thing I think about when I hear that question is self-confidence. And we all know that men out there love it when they are confident in themselves. So I'm just going to describe this briefly. I didn't always look like I do right now. I used to weigh 217 pounds. So let me ask a question. Do you think I enjoyed looking at myself in that mirror when I was 217 pounds? No. And I knew that there was something I needed to do to start changing my life, or I was going to start being a statistic. So what did I start doing? I realized at some point that I had to take control of my health. No one else was going to do it for me. I had to do it for myself, because I had to love myself. So I began to exercise. I began to eat better. I began to drink water, get more rest. And I even began to implement some of these awesome and amazing concentrated juice powders that began to impact my life so much so that I am proud to say, and everyone that's listening to me right now, we are not making any types of claims. I'm just simply sharing my testimony. I'm proud to say that recently, after getting my blood work done from my doctor, he said to me that your testosterone levels are great, that your iron levels are amazing, and that the chances of you getting a cardiovascular disease is slim to none.
Awesome. And I think that's important too, just, being able to, look at where we are. I know this is a men's call, but we have women on this call as well, because these women have husbands, they have sons, they have uncles, they have children that are men. And so the information that's being put out, we're trying to catch them at a young age so they don't have some of these same conditions and diseases and issues when they get older. And so, this is, something for everybody. And I love that. And as we prepare to wrap up, a little bit, I go to you one more time, Phil. When we look at in different, even though we are all in different eras, and when we see that, we've been able to kind of incorporate, who we are and what we do into our business aspect of what we do. And so, from your standpoint, how have you been able to inject that before we wrap up?
I'm a field engineer. I've been able to travel this world. So as a field service engineer, just meaning I travel and fix stuff. Let me just clarify that. So if people field, F-I-E-L-D, I'm a field engineer. My undergrad is electronic engineering. I have an MBA in project management, and I just had the opportunity to travel for a living, you know, and the downfall of it is you're not always around your family. You're not always around your wife because you travel to make a living. So, you know, when I think about what I do for a living and what I want to do for a life, I had to kind of shift perspective. You know, I can keep traveling and I can keep complaining, or I can start implementing things. And I was introduced to a company from one of my daughter's childhood friends that kind of changed my wife and our life. And my wife has not worked a 9 to 5 traditionally since maybe about 2014. And these kind of conversations that we're having right now was something that I started implementing almost 7 years ago. Just sharing with a person, hey man, listen, what are you doing about your health? You know, a lot of times people ask me this question, how you doing today? And I'm a person who naturally kind of gets irritated because it's asked by people who are not necessarily involved with my daily life. So I take it sometimes as a hello, but really I kind of put that on a person. I say, man, it's a good day to be alive. And sometimes I'll get a response from a person and they'll say, well, isn't every day a good day to be alive? And I'll say, well, you asked me how I'm doing today. And I'm telling you, it's a good day to be alive. Well, I like that attitude. And then I go right into why I have that attitude, because I feel good. You know, my mental health is high. I feel great. And when I feel great, I like to exude that energy. So that's right there, Johnny, is I start just, hey, what are you doing to feel better? You know, do you think you're getting the right amounts of fruits and vegetables in your system? Matter of fact, I got a quick question. Are you getting 33 fruits and vegetables? A lot of times brothers, they'll go, man, how the heck do you do that? And I just say, well, let me send you some information. Let's chat a little bit more about it. But I think you have to implement the conversation. How we're having this discussion today, Dan, the Doc, Arnold, Johnny, and myself, the conversation has to get established. The conversation has to get the ball rolling. It has to be the bowling ball to knock the pins down. Why? We don't want to go to young funerals. Let's say it like that, you know? So if what I was saying earlier was meaning that we don't prioritize our health and we prioritize providing, then maybe we need to supplement the way we provide in order to have the proper health. But we have to prioritize our health. And sometimes we have to shift our business mind as well, Johnny.
Understood. And so I am so happy that we've gotten a chance to kind of share from different perspectives across the generations some of the things that we've seen from our vantage points, from our lenses, as to what we're facing in the health space, but also some of the benefits and opportunities that also exist to help shape the young people, as well as some of our seniors, to have an improved quality of life.
Johnny, excuse me, one more thing.
Yes, sir.
During the conversation, it was mentioned that, people come at us with different kinds of products, right? That because there's so much out there now. So the last thing I'm going to say to everyone is, when they come at you with these products that are these so-called miracle cures, ask them to show you the research. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Got it. Yeah, so we're going to bring forth DeWanna Scantlebury. She is a corporate business leader with more than 25 years of direct selling experience. After attending Cornell University, she actually led a global rollout to replace some outdated business order management systems. She spent like 15 years as a senior sales management development in an exciting field for events and incentive programs, while overseeing representative communications. DeWanna has also been a senior marketing manager in apparel for 12 years, responsible for product development that generated sales in excess of $180 million. Throughout her career, DeWanna was so passionate about understanding the representative experience and walking in their shoes that she became one herself. She served customers for more than 16 years and became a top performer of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. She's currently the senior director of marketing and activation, and where she's a native of New Yorker.
Thank you so much, Johnny. And I just want to say a personal thank you, Arnold, Dr. Fowler, Phil, Daniel, and you, Johnny. This has been an incredible call. I have been inspired. I can't wait to get the recording, because I want my husband and my sons to hear this, because this is about Men's Health Month. This is about men inspiring, empowering, and supporting men about prioritizing their health, Phil, you said it loud and clear, and I kept writing it down. Prioritize, 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 right? Our health, without our health, what do we have to give of ourselves, right? It's that important. So I am just really honored to be on this call because I get to partner with you all in your business endeavors. And it really is about sharing information. I think Daniel said it best. There's so much information or misinformation on social media. Social media is a huge space, right? I can't even remember where we were without it, but here we are. But this conversation is about the information that you can use to make decisions and taking control of your health. And again, I get to partner with you all on this journey, this mission of inspiring healthy living. So I just want to share just a couple of closing remarks on the power of this call and really the opportunity we all have, whether you have your own health and wellness business, or whether you're here to just get some good information about what you can do as a male or what you can do to help the male in your life. Learn and get educated. I think Dr. Fowler, you said it so well, the lack of knowledge, even as in medical school, the fact that they don't teach prevention and they don't teach nutrition. That's every time I hear it, it blows my mind away. And the misinformation and the stats, Arnold, that you shared, it's not about scaring people. It's just the reality, right? Phil said facts are facts. You can't deny the facts. Knowledge is power. When you know, now you have to act on what you've learned, right? And it's not a quick fix. Daniel said that, not about a quick fix, but it's about simple, easy habits that you can continue consistently and have a support group. Phil, go for a walk. How you do it? So I'm here to just let you know that you were supported by a company that has been supporting entrepreneurs for over 50 years and 30 years in the health and wellness game. That is incredible. And I like to say personally, the OG of plant-based nutrition. We were one of the first, right? And now look at where we are. And I say that to share with the audience because, I've learned being in this business to read labels and don't believe the hype, right? I'm a New Yorker, don't believe the hype. You have to educate yourself. And I didn't know really about health and wellness until I started to get educated, till I started doing my own research. And Dr. Fowler, one of your closing remarks is, do your research when you're eating, when you're exercising, do your research. And I am so proud to say that this company that you are partnering with, we've done our research. We have a simple, convenient, affordable way to help you add into your diet over 30 fruits and vegetables. Phil said he starts that with a conversation like, wow, how do you do that? That's what I said. Wow, how do you do that? And we've mastered the art of putting that in plant powdered nutrition in a capsule. Simple, easy, carry it in your purse. Whatever you want to take it on an airplane, put it wherever you want. You can carry it, you can take it with you, but it's adding to what you are already doing or bridging the gap of what you should be eating with what you're not eating. So this company is here, 50 years old, 30 years in the game, and I'm really excited about where we are as a company because we are expanding our global portfolio. We are looking into new markets because we want to empower people to take control of their health and we want to be there to support them. So we are growing, we are in 26 countries and growing as a company. We are also a company that is expanding its target audience. We want this, health is for everybody. I don't care who you are. Health is for everybody, right? So being able as a company to put a new face on who we are, right? Everybody needs to, clean up a little bit, right? So you look in the mirror, you're like, what can I do to, appeal or engage to other people? So this 50-year-old company, I'm so excited. In a couple of weeks, you'll see we're going to have a new look and feel. We are elevating and expanding and modernizing our packaging so that people can look and really want to learn more about who we are, how we talk about the business, how we talk about the product, how we talk about the company, because we are one of the best kept secrets out there. We may not be on a TV commercial, we may not be in a print article, but we are on the map. And we are really working hard with your voices, with your conversations to expand that message. So I'm really excited about what's to come in our new look and feel. But also what I really appreciate about what we get to do as a company with, our entrepreneurs is really support people. We talk about a support system, right? Our founder said, find a buddy. And I think that's a mantra for everything. Find a buddy, because that buddy in whatever you do is going to help inspire you. It's going to keep you on the straight and narrow if you fall short, right? So we all need someone to support us. And this is what this community is about. We're here to help you get information, explain information, apply the information. Again, Dr. Fowler is here. We have a healthcare professional who understands what's lacking and understands what we need to, again, take control of our health. So this is a very giving community. We want to just support each other. If each of us know a little better and we talk to two people and two people talk to two people and two people talk to two people, imagine how many know. But now we have social media, right? So that platform, when used properly, has the ability to really reach the hearts and minds of people who are searching for information and they don't know who to trust or who to have that conversation with. And again, our product is backed by science, over 40 research studies. That is huge. That I do not know of. And Dr. Fowler, I'm sure you will agree with me that there is not another company out there to date, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that has that much research, really. So you know that taking or eating our plant-based powders is backed by science. The benefits are there. This is not something that's a fly by night and there's misinformation. No, the information is there. The research has been done for you. Now we make it available. So again, this is a company that really is. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take any of the fellas or Dr. Fowler's word for it. The research is there. So that really tells you about who we are, what we're trying to do for everybody to get educated. And, where we are today, it's 2022. The world has changed dramatically in the past 2.5 years. I personally agree, now more than ever, everybody needs to really take a look at their health. Whether you've been eating great, that's perfect, but we could always eat a little more. I don't think, I know too much of a good thing could be bad, but I don't know. If you eat too much fruits and veggies, I don't know how bad that could be. I think the evidence shows it's not a bad thing, right? But we're in a time where people, again, they want the information. They just don't know where to find it. So we have the information. We have a great means that they can add into their diet. But then we also have a great opportunity. Again, entrepreneurs, right? Everybody has their brand. Everybody now is interested in taking control of even their finances. So here's a great way to have a business of your own with a product and within a health and wellness company that's going to support you. And it's not going to go out of style. Like fruits and veggies are never going to go out of style. We got to eat it. We have no choice. You got to consume it one way or another to keep moving, right? So you're not taking a chance on fruits and veggies. So being able to really look at the product, the opportunity, a company that's here, the longevity says a lot, very authentic. The fact that I have been invited on this call to just share and support the conversation, to the awareness is really a compliment to you all who are hosting the call, but also to the company. We just side by side, we're right there with you. We're not in front of you. We're not behind you, we're side by side because we want to do this together with you, for you, and it's about you. So that's really, make your goals and dreams real, right? Everybody's looking at how can I do it my way? Here's an opportunity to look at a business venture, doing it your way, doing it with people, and doing it with an impact that can really make a difference in the lives of people. And just in closing, I want to just say, if this is your first time on this call, welcome. I hope it's not your last time, but we have an opportunity where we're going to actually gather in person in Atlanta. And I think that's going to be the biggest house party in 2022 for our health and wellness community. And I challenge you, or I invite you to, when we get more information, to talk to the person who invited you, to really come and take a look at who we are and what we're about, because actions speak louder than words, and we are a company of action. We do not sit quiet. We may talk too much. I'm very passionate about what I get to do every day to support, because I didn't know, right? I'm burning because I didn't know, and now that I know, I think everybody should know, and you decide for yourself, right? Take control, decide for yourself. But we're going to gather together in Atlanta in October, and it's really an opportunity to hear from other healthcare professionals, hear from these peers, business entrepreneurs who are passionate about health and wellness. You'll get to see this company up close and personal for yourself. Who are we? What are we about? What do we look like? Why are we, as a health and wellness company, so passionate about what we get to do? So I invite you to that event in Atlanta. Again, talk to the person who invited you. And really, I just say, again, thank you so much for allowing me to share a little bit about who this company is, because I'll tell you, 5 years ago, I didn't know anything about Juice Plus, and I'm a New Yorker and I know a lot, but I didn't know about this company. And I am so glad that someone spoke to me about the company, because that's how we operate. It's a beautiful thing. Again, we're not going to be on a billboard yet, because we're spending our money wisely. However, when you talk to someone that you trust, that person exposes you to an experience or a conversation that you would never have had. And that person did that for me. And I'm so grateful. And I hope that what you've experienced and heard today allows you to take steps in thinking about how you want to take control of your life. So thank you, John.
All right. Well, thank you so much, DeWanda, for being on this call. We just love when she comes on and gets the opportunity to wrap everything up with a nice, pretty red bow, and she graces us and all makes us all look good with for her being on the call with us. So with that, definitely want to thank Mr. Phil Cooper, Dr. Reginald Fowler, Arnold Brown, and Daniel Merritt for also serving as our panelists. I'm Johnny Grandison as your host. Again, we want to thank each of you for coming onto this call to learn more and just to be a part of it, that you can get some information that you can use in your own household, as well as to share for those in your communities. And so definitely look forward to the next episode of the Becoming calls as we go forward. And thank you again, and have a great night.